Okay. Sorry, I'm a little late, guys. Give it another minute and then I'll get started. I'm not going to stay on too late tonight. So I do hope that... Hi, Angela. I hope everybody's able to make it. But if you're not able to make it and you catch it on the stream, be sure to hit the like button after everything's said and done. So guys, I hope you guys are having a great week. Well, today's Friday, so. But I hope you had a great week, and I hope that you all have a great weekend as well. Hi, Ty. Okay. Sometimes it kind of drags when we're first starting, but I'm trying my best to be here on time so we could just get right into it. That's all right, Ty. Don't worry about it. If you guys notice that I'm looking in this direction, I'm looking at my other laptop because I have made some notes with regards to the things that I wanted to discuss today. And, you know, just to kind of do a recap of things, you know, just a general recap. But I'm going to timestamp it. It's 8:06, so about 6 minutes in. No, 8:03, it was about 3 minutes in. Sorry about that. I'll timestamp it so that way when it streams, just be sure to go into the description box and you'll see the timestamp and you could just go right there to where everything begins. Okay, hold on one second. From Melbourne, Ismail, welcome. Welcome. I'm streaming on Facebook too, guys. So if you don't see the person's comments it's on Facebook. So guys, welcome all, guys. Our weekly mental health check-in for survivors of narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse, toxic relationships, you name it. That's what we're here for. Lotus Pearl, hey everybody, I watched a lot of your content. I love. Oh well, thank you, sweetheart. I thank you. I thank you for the feedback, I'm glad that my content is helping people. You know, I know that I have a different look to myself, guys. I'm not like most I guess, you know, teachers. Yeah, I have tattoos. I have a certain look to myself, but you know what they say, don't judge a book by its cover, right? You know, we all have gone through some things in life. We have gone through some things in our relationships, in our family. We've gone through a lot, and it doesn't matter how you look on the outside. What matters is how you feel on the inside. Okay? You know, you can see someone walking around with a suit and a whole teddy bear. Can you guys hear me? All right, just want to make sure because my headphones are like, they sound like they're going in and out. But I'm glad that, you know, what I've been doing is helping, and you know, how I'm getting the message across is you know, getting to people, and it's really, you know, informing them. It's helping to give them some form of closure. It's helping to, you know, just to help them progress in their journey. So I'm really glad that we're able to do that. I'm really glad that, you know, God is giving me each and every day to, you know, to be able to do that for you. So, you know, please continue to, you know, to watch. If you need to watch the videos over and over again, by all means, please do so. If it means helping you to progress, to move forward, please do so. If you can, share the videos with anyone that you think may need it. They may need the help. They may need the guidance. They may need the answers. And, you know, of course, if the videos aren't enough and you may need a little more direct one-on-one, you can always email me at narcsurvival101@gmail.com. I would be more than glad to help you with whatever it is that you need help with. So guys, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to just kind of do a little recap of things and just kind of help people to understand. I've been getting a lot of interesting feedback, and especially on TikTok, because TikTok is just it's very popular. It's a very popular platform, and I get so many different people. And normally I don't, you guys know me, I don't allow people to ruffle my feathers or anything like that, and I still don't. But interestingly enough, I do get a lot of people who have either experienced narcissistic abuse, have witnessed people experience it, or are just pretty much, they got their own traumatic issues to deal with, and they're clearly in denial, where they want to kind of project onto other people, such as myself, their own personal biases. And I want to make something clear here. Number one, yes, I'm a woman. Hi, Cicely. Hi, sweetheart. I am a woman, but I don't advocate solely for women. I advocate for men too. Okay. And I want men to understand that. I advocate for men as well. And if you look through my content, you will see that I do a lot of videos on female narcissism. Okay. I do a lot of videos on them as well. I am not here to be biased. I'm not here to be judgmental. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to give you the information, tell you like it is, whether it's a stone cold hard truth or it's something that you've already known and you just need a confirmation for it. But I don't solely advocate for women. I do it for men as well. Okay. In survivorship, we know no gender. We know no gender, but I do have to make my content based on gender, for specific types of audiences, because, not everyone's dealing with a female narcissist, and not everyone's dealing with a male narcissist. Not everyone is dealing with a narcissist in romantic relationships. Not everyone's dealing with it just in their family. So just please keep in mind that I do advocate for both sides. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, men ain't shit and this and that or whatever. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to help whomever needs to be helped. Hi, Orlando. Thank you, Lotus. I try to, well, now that TikTok is, EJ, thank you for that donation, sweetheart. Now that TikTok is allowing us to do 10-minute videos, now I can actually put more informative videos, because I know not everybody who has TikTok has YouTube. And I know a lot of my content, it is for 18 and older. So I don't want to push people to have to make a YouTube account to watch. If they're able to watch it on there, then great, you can watch it on there. But I'm going to definitely do my best to really, just give you the pertinent details. That's what I like to do, guys. I like to give the pertinent details. I don't do clickbait. I don't do any of that. I just say what it is and then just move on to the next topic, So I definitely aim to really, really just put the focus on what it is that you really need that help, with what it is you really need that help. EJ, it's kind of shocking we survived. You don't, what's that saying? You never realize how strong you are until, your strength is all you have left. What's amazing is that you guys stuck with the plan in your healing. Because not many people can do that. Not many people can do that. A lot of people are going back into the toxic cycles. A lot of people are going back to those relationships. A lot of people are revisiting, these relationships, with whether it be with family members or with, romantic relationships. A lot of people are going back to those things. They're reverting back, and for all of you who have come this far and said, no, I want to just move on with my life, and I want to move forward, and I want to just, enjoy life. I want to be where I need to be. You guys should be very proud of yourself for that. Okay. Be very proud of yourself. It takes strength to do that. I know you guys love the person or love the people at some point in your life. You had nothing but good intentions for them. You wanted nothing but the best for them. Okay. And you wanted more than anything to show them that they are not your enemy. They are someone who you really care about. You're not here to hurt them. You're not here to, to take advantage of them. You're not here to do any of those things. Unfortunately, these people had different perceptions. These people live with different mindsets. Okay. So It's okay to feel upset, and it's okay to even feel like you were bamboozled. It's okay, even if you're feeling a bit of bitterness, it's okay to feel these things. You have every right. You have every right to feel these things. You have every right to, because that's what shows that you're human. You're a human being. You have feelings. Okay, you're a living, breathing, you're a person. And just because these people did not treat you like a person does not mean that you have to internalize that as you're not worthy of love or happiness or peace or anything. No. Okay, how someone treats you is not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of themselves. And the more we understand that, and the more we continue to tell ourselves that, because it's the truth, we got to fill ourselves with the truth, the more we'll be able to move forward, go forward in life. I know, EJ, I know. And it's sad how it could be your own family that betrays you. It's sad that your own family, they're supposed to be your blood. And we take that. We take that. Family, is blood. Family is everything. We're supposed to have each other's backs. We're supposed to, unfortunately, you know, there are two people in this equation, which is your ex and your family member, who both need to take accountability for their actions. Okay, even though she was the way she was, which I remember us talking about it, he had choices too, and he exerted his free will. He chose to do what he did, and at the end of the day, you hold them both accountable. But you know something, at least you got to see things for what they were. You got to get rid of someone who clearly did not value you and clearly did not, want to be a part of your life. But that doesn't mean that you're not worthy of having someone who would love to be a part of your life. And unfortunately, as far as your family member is concerned, you guys may share a bloodline, but at the end of the day, you don't have to interact with them. Okay, and I want everyone to understand that if you have family members who are narcissistic, who are narcissists, who are manipulators, who are whatever, if you have family members who are like this, you don't have to interact with any of them. You don't have to be around them. You can continue to live your life the way you've been living it. It just means you got to keep your distance. That's it. And if you really think about it, EJ, they both did you a favor. They both showed you their true colors simultaneously. They showed you their true colors, and they showed you what you don't want in your life, what you don't need in your life. Okay? People like that, who have to do underhanded things, who have to sneak around behind your back, who have to, who betray you, people like that are not worth having in our lives. They're really not. Okay, because all they're going to do is use different cards and different ways to try to pull at your heartstrings. So in the end, they did you the favor, sweetheart. And I know it's been a long journey for you, because I know we've spoken plenty of times, but you definitely have come a long way. You should be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself for that. No contact is still the golden number one rule. You have to, if you want to survive. Yes. No contact is very important, guys. It's extremely important. No contact allows you to, I live with out of sight, out of mind. Okay. That's what I live with. Out of sight, out of mind. When I went no contact, and I just basically decided to just completely remove myself, because that situation that I was in myself, there was really no intention on me being removed completely from it on the other side. So I had to remove myself completely from it. And by doing so, that meant having to remove my existence, like completely. I mean, listen, they obliterate your existence in that, they have other people, probably filling other people's heads, telling them whatever story they want to tell them about, why it is that you're not together anymore. And again, that's with them and those people they talk to. But removing yourself completely from the situation not only does it show them that you're respecting yourself enough to not deal with that, even though you're in pain. Because let me tell you, no contact isn't easy. It is not easy, especially when you are in pain. If you've been in pain during no contact, trust me, all of us here know it. But it also, being out of sight, out of mind, also helps you to detach from the situation. And I'm sorry. Gucci, I have court in October and trial a year from now. I left over 2 years ago and he's silent now. Does that mean he's like over the entire case and the fact that I'm putting him in jail? It might not necessarily mean that. I tell everybody, take everything with a grain of salt. Okay. You got to take the possibilities and then you got to take, the impossibilities. So you got to take what may be a possibility, hold on to that, but also take what other alternatives there may be. Now, under normal circumstances, someone who suffers narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, or severe narcissistic characteristics, if they have the mindset like that, they don't take being slighted very, what's the word for it? Lightly. I can't believe I went blank. They don't take being slighted very lightly. Just as if they don't get their way, if they work hard to try to get their way in a situation, they don't take rejection very lightly. They don't take, being betrayed, because, if you speak your truth, or if you say what you got to say, or if you do what you have to do, that's betraying them. You are betraying them. You understand? And I do parentheses because that's pretty much what it is. That's their perception. So they don't take things very lightly. The mere fact that this person is silent, it could mean anything. And you have to be on guard for anything. You always have to be prepared for anything. Okay? Just because someone doesn't say anything to you, if they are of this nature and they don't reach out to you, they don't call you, they don't contact you, they don't visit you, you're thinking you're free and clear and you're in the clear of everything. And a year or two goes by and then boom, something pops up. You have to be on guard. Your back has to be on the wall. Okay, wherever you go, whatever you do. And I don't mean to say that to scare you or anything, but you have to be prepared for anything. Okay, always be prepared for anything. Just like when you walk outside your door and you cross the street and you look both ways, even if you don't see a car coming, you still look both ways, right? That's what you have to do. You have to be prepared for anything, because you don't know where their mindset is. You don't know what they're thinking or what they may or may not do. You just don't know. Conversations with a dark empath. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I thank you. It's hard to have no contact when you have a minor child. It is limited contact is necessary when you have children. You have to keep limited contact, okay? But you have to keep the contact on, based on the child. So don't get, don't get amped up or worried if they're trying to like get a reaction out of you in the interim of it. It's their MO. They like to try to get you to react. They like to try to get you to be emotionally reactive. And if it has nothing to do with the child, the simple way to disarm the situation is, okay, are we done with this conversation? Are we done? They will say and do things to try to get you to come at them. All right. They will say and do things. Hey, Butch. Hi, sweetheart. They will say things to try to get you to come at them. And what you would have to do on your end is you got to hold a stone face. Okay. You got to stay as solid as stone. I know sometimes it can be difficult for people because, some of the things that come out of their mouth can be very disrespectful, very callous, very rude, but just understand that this has nothing to do really with you. It has more to do with them. And it has more to do with the fact that they are feeling some type of way. Maybe you're not giving them the attention that they want. Maybe you're not reacting like you used to react. Maybe you're not feeding into it. You're not feeding into their ego. And because you're not doing these things and you're just putting the sole focus on the child or the children, they're looking to kind of go around it. Okay. And this can be, hi, Stella. Hi, sweetheart. This can be either way, men or women. They look to go around it and they look to get you pissed off. They want to get you upset so you can be reactive, so you can just blow up on them. And then they can basically use that against you. So if you have children, yes, Orlando, no reaction is the best. If you have children with them, Keep everything to a minimum. Keep everything light. Keep everything, what do I say, logical. No emotions. Show no emotions. Show not a care in the world. Even if it's eating you up inside. Even if it's killing you, it's bothering you like hell. Okay, it's like, oh my gosh, like you're, you know, that inner voice inside you, like, oh my God, I want to rip this person's head off. Even if it does that, show discipline. Show them that you're not playing that game with them. Okay, show them that. I mentioned this, and I've mentioned this on a few lives too. If you are doing the co-parenting thing, you know, even if you're going through the legal system or what have you, they have these apps that you can use. Do you still have the? She's gonna put up the app that you can use. One of my other subscribers, he mentioned it to me, and we looked it up. And it's an app that they use, the co-parents use, because they're going through not a custody battle, but it's like legal visitation and so forth and so on. It's like a transcription app where it records everything. It's utilized within the court. Like the courts find it admissible. You know, if you are able to do it that way, where it lets them contact you based on utilizing that app, so that way it can transcribe the conversation, then listen, if that's the way to go about it, and that's the only other way they'll be able to contact you, and they have no choice but to use that app, then more than likely, because it is being recorded and it is because it's being transcribed, they'd have no choice but to be on their best behavior. They would have no choice. Okay, remember, guys, remember what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people, or you dealt with people who are like children. They're like children. They act like children. When they don't get their way, they throw tantrums, right? When you know, not chastise them, when you reprimand them for doing something wrong, what do? They start to huff and puff and get upset, right? This is what you were dealing with. You were dealing with people who are in full adult form, but they got the minds of kids. And it's like, you have to sit there and discipline these kids. It's not worth the headache. It really isn't. Is it normal after a year and a half, no contact, to go backwards emotionally? It happens. It does happen. It does happen, Stella. And the thing of it is, and this is why people fall for the Hoover. This is why a lot of people fall for the Hoover. Because in the end, even though you are a year no contact, you're still healing. You're still trying to release and purge out all of that, all of the trauma and everything. You know, guys, what you experienced, which it's you know, I've been doing a lot of my research. You guys know I've been doing this for years, and you know that I've been, you know, trying my best to get as much updated information to you as possible. But what you've experienced is a form of abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Okay, that is what defines narcissistic abuse. It is a form, basically an abuse method used by a manipulator to alter the behaviors of their target. So if you were with someone who is a narcissist, who is narcissistic, who suffers, you know, NPD or what have you, narcissistic abuse is simply that. It's abusive methods, abusive tactics to alter the behaviors of their victims. Okay? What you have experienced, because you were pretty much conforming, you ended up coming out of this relationship, out of this dynamic, not being the same person you thought you were. Okay? You felt used, you felt conned, you felt bamboozled, you felt lied to, you felt betrayed, you felt so many different emotions, and yet you still couldn't cope. You still couldn't cope with what happened. And you are still, which is why a lot of victims, and you know, which a lot of victims end up, you know, reverting, still holding on to, hi Riri, hi sweetheart. You're still holding on to certain things about that person that you valued, you cherished dearly, like, you know, the good times, the good moments that you guys spent together, you know, the times they were being nice to you, or the times they were being sweet to you, or they were being, you know, emotional with you, or being vulnerable with you. You held on to those things. You know, your heart was holding on to those things. So while your brain is trying to tell you, listen, I need you to focus for a second. I need you to just stop for a second and focus on what I'm telling you. Your heart is like, yeah, but you know, your heart's rationalizing. It's trying to rationalize, you know, with everything. It's basically trying to, oh, well, okay, that person, your brain is telling you that person was, projecting narcissistic rage on you, but your heart is telling you, yeah, but you were kind of poking them and, you were kind of being a little overreactive and you were doing, and this is why that war between your head and your heart, that war between your head and your heart. And what did I tell you guys? The heart is treacherous. The heart is treacherous. The heart will betray you. It will betray you. You have to be very careful. But yes, Stella, it is possible. It is possible. Hi, Sky. Hi, official. Take your time, sweetheart. Get home safe, okay? Or wherever it is you're going, get there safely. If you can't stick around, that's perfectly fine. You know you can catch it on the stream, and you already know you can contact me anytime. Hi, Raphael. I just want to make sure I don't forget anyone. But it definitely is, it definitely is something that, during after a discard, you've experienced so many different emotions. You're experiencing grief. You're experiencing what feels like torture, because it feels like you literally lost someone to death. That's what it feels like. It feels like you lost the person that you loved completely, and in the interim of the stonewalling, the breadcrumbing, the narcissistic rage, the gaslighting, you're sitting there and you don't your heart doesn't want to come to terms with what your brain is really trying to tell you, and more than likely what your brain has been trying to tell you the entire time you were in that relationship. Okay, your brain was trying to tell you, pay attention, because this does not look right. This doesn't sound right. Who talks to somebody like this? Who treats someone like this? Your brain was trying to tell you those things. And when you actually almost got to a point that you were trying to work up the courage to sit there and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to talk to this person because they shouldn't be treating me this way. When you try to have a conversation with them and you're trying to point out that the person was being rude or disrespectful or was, completely out of line, it ends up turning into a really massive argument. They end up either threatening to leave or they end up getting really aggressive, really volatile, and you end up backing down. You end up pulling out the white flag and say, okay, I'm sorry, I surrender. And you actually end up apologizing for having for even starting the argument, because they have you believing you started an argument. You started an argument with me. And it wasn't even to start an argument, it was to get your point across. But when you're going against the grain with people like this, you are pretty much pushing them into a corner. And when you push them into a corner, because they were raised with survival mode, they're constantly on survival mode, they're going to attack you. You're not trying to attack them, but they will attack you if they feel cornered. If they feel like you're reprimanding me, you're criticizing me, you're telling me what I'm doing wrong, you're telling me I'm being mean and I'm being disrespectful, you're telling me the truth about myself and I can't handle it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to attack you. I'm going to put my claws out and I'm going to attack you. And that's precisely what they do, because they don't like what they're hearing. They don't like losing control. You stepping up to them, you standing up to them, means that they are losing control. And Gucci, if that is the case, I would hope that it is. But if he is, if he is no longer obsessed, if he is no longer, wanting to, that's great. You still got it. You still have to be on guard because, people like that can wait years before they try to re-enter, or they could wait years before they try to come back and act as if nothing happened. Oh, that happened 5 years ago. It's a new day. It's a new day, and we're gonna stay stuck on that, or can we just, can their biggest things? Their biggest things are putting everything behind us, sweeping everything under the rug, forgetting about all of that, and having a fresh start. That's what they do. That's what they do. They want you to forget everything. They want you to just completely forget everything that happened. Listen, I made some mistakes. You made some mistakes. Why don't we just put it behind us? And why don't we just focus on this day forward? How about that? Sorry, that does not sound like accountability. That is not accountability. That's pretty much excusing themselves, eluding accountability, and just saying, well, listen, tomato, tomato, come on. Let's just move on to the next thing. Let's just move forward. No. My nail school is in the same area we used to hang out at. I'm trying to start a new journey and go back to school, but what if I see him one day in that area? Ignore him. Completely ignore him. Listen, look the other way. If he's on the same block as you, cross the street, whatever you need to do, whatever you need to do to avoid him, ignore him. Okay? If he tries to say hello to you, just no, can't, I gotta go. Okay? Ignore him. Because, listen, an apology without changed behavior is nothing but manipulation. That's all that is. If that person had any respect for themselves, they have any respect for you, well, first of all, they wouldn't have done to you what they did. Okay? But at the end of the day, if that person comes to you and says, and if listen, guys, I'm not saying rip their eyeballs out if you see them. I'm not saying cut them. I'm not saying do any of those things. If they come to you and they say, look, I just want to apologize. All right, fine. State your apology. Say what you got to say. Cool. You good? I'm good. All right. Have a nice life. And that's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. There is no need for anything extra. There's no need for you to, you guys to go any further into anything, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. I had to do an ex like that. It was at a groundbreaking ceremony, and I walked right past her as if I didn't know who she was. Half the time, I don't know who anybody is because I'm half blind. So, I mean, I could see someone who maybe, I don't know, but I think that's one of the benefits of being really badly blind. Like I can't see for her. I can't, but sometimes it's the best thing to do, because you don't want to start an argument. You don't want to, you don't want to be sucked back into that low vibrational stuff. You don't want to be brought back into that stuff. And if they don't have anything positive to say or anything nice to say, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So at the end of the day, if you happen to pass them, if you happen to be around them and don't even realize it, it's just best to just go in your own direction. Go your own way, let them go their own way, and that's it. Give me 1 second. And guys, understand something. The effects of narcissistic abuse, they could be pretty, and maybe you don't realize it, especially during the time that you're trying to gather things together. You're trying to just put your mind at ease, but you can experience a lot of different things. A lot of the different effects of narcissistic abuse, you have anxiety, you have depression, you have post-traumatic stress, PTSD, okay? You can get PTSD from narcissistically abusive relationships. You have loss of your sense of self, your self-worth. People who are victims of narcissistic abuse, especially after the discard, they feel like they're worthless. They feel like, this person this person never loved me. This person never really cared about me. This person just, just used me. And they internalize that. People internalize that and, convince themselves that they're not worthy. They convince themselves they're not, I'm probably just not worthy of love, because please don't do that. Anybody who's new, anybody who's passing through, please don't do that. Do not do that. Do not put your value in the hands of someone who clearly showed you that they did not value you, but it wasn't because you're not valuable. It's because they don't know how to value themselves. They're not going to know how to value another individual. These are people who are inherently unhappy people. These are the kind of people that have lived their lives, inside miserably. Even though on the outside they're high functioning, they may show a side of themselves that they're, very successful, that they're very, very chilled people, that they're very important people. They have a lot of friends, what have you. They may show that side to you, but that's all a facade. Deep down inside, they're very unhappy people. Narcissism, first of all, let's understand something about narcissism, okay? Because narcissism affects all of us in a way. It affects all of us, okay? But people who have an excessive amount of narcissism ingrained within them are the people who've internalized certain behaviors from childhood up until adulthood, and they project it in a very negative way, okay? In a very negative way. One of the things that, people have a hard time understanding, there's a difference between someone who is a narcissist and someone who is narcissistic. There's a big difference, okay? And I'm going to actually do a video which is called Narcissism 101, the basics, giving the basics of narcissism and the different nouns and adjectives of the term narcissism. Someone who is a narcissist is someone who is diagnosed as having NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, okay? They meet the criteria of someone who suffers NPD. Let's go one up before we even get into it. Now, I did the calculation because I wanted to, find out more or less with statistics. And mind you, statistics are based on participants. So in order for a statistic to be determined, people have to participate in surveys. They have to participate in, in studies to determine certain things. Statistics have that narcissistic personality disorder is found more common, first of all, in men than it is in women. Okay? Give me a second. I want to pull it up because I have my information. Okay, so they have that 7.7% in men and 4.8% in women. Okay, NPD. Now, this is based on experts, and these experts are explaining this based on studies. But in order to properly study people, you have to have participants within that study. Okay. Which means that there's no telling how much more is out there, because narcissists are not the kind of people who try to become aware of the problems that they suffer. Okay, so they have it as 7.7% men, 4.8% women. All right. Now, interestingly enough, the world's population, because, they're saying that 5% of the world's population suffers NPD, okay, that has narcissistic personality disorder. So now if we calculate that, okay, and we take the world population, it's 7.9 billion. We times that by 5%, that's 39,500,000, okay? That's just based on what they're saying with regards to 5% of the world population having NPD, not including the people who are just narcissistic. Okay, 5% of the world population, 5% of 7.9 billion, 39,500,000. That's still a lot of freaking people. That's still a lot of people. Okay, and if you basically look at that, where you have 39,500,000 people who had NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, then you got to look at their victims, the people who they've projected narcissistic abuse and all of the forms of trauma, okay? And then you also have to calculate the amount of victims who are unhealed, who have also projected narcissistic abuse onto other people. Because I don't know if anybody really knows this or not. You don't have to be a narcissist to project narcissistic abuse on someone. You don't have to be, I'm going to repeat that. You do not have to be diagnosed as a narcissist to project narcissistic abuse on someone. You can simply be narcissistic. You can have traits of a narcissist. You can have a lot of different traits of a narcissist, but you don't have to be a narcissist to have been inflicted with narcissistic abuse. That person doesn't have to be a narcissist. And people are, I noticed that a lot of people talk about, oh, everybody all of a sudden is an expert on narcissism. Everybody all of a sudden is dealing with a narcissist and this and that and all this bullshit I hear all the time. And I'm here to help people understand that they don't have to be diagnosed as a narcissist for you to have experienced narcissistic abuse. You can have an unhealed victim of narcissistic abuse who has not done the healing, who has not done the work, who has basically internalized the trauma that they have received from either the actual narcissist or someone who is severely narcissistic, and they could project it onto someone else. Heard that phrase, hurt people, right? So you have to understand, there are different things derivative of narcissism. So even if the person you dealt with was not in fact a narcissist, and of course, we would never really know that because you would need to have a full diagnosis. And of course, that would require them going to a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And in this case, if they agree to do something like that, that would be admitting that they do have a problem, admitting that something is wrong with them. And of course, it would be crumbling down their perfect little deluded world, which is not going to happen. So, for argument's sake, even if that person is not a narcissist, but they have narcissistic tendencies, they could have still projected narcissistic abuse onto you, being the victim now turned survivor. So understand that even though if the person is not in fact a narcissist, they can still project narcissistic abuse onto other people, okay? Another factor, anyone is capable of being narcissistic. Anyone, even an empath, a codependent, okay? A non-narcissist can be narcissistic. You have different levels of narcissistic behaviors. You can have temporary narcissism where you have temporary moments that you have become narcissistic. You can have moments where you are, in narcissistic mode, and then you come to terms and realize, holy shit, I was being narcissistic. I apologize. That is not my nature. That is not who I am. That doesn't make you a narcissist. Okay? It does not make you a narcissist. What makes a narcissist is someone who clearly has no type of regard, no type of empathy, no type of respect, no type of consideration for other people. These are people who are very one-sided, and they live their lives being this way in their relationships, in their family dynamics, and in their friendships. These are people who believe that they are of the utmost importance. Their wants, their desires, their needs come ahead of everyone else. It does not come after you. Everything that they desire, everything they want is put before you. Okay? What will fulfill them, what will satisfy them is what's important to them. So if you find yourself in a relationship with them or someone who is narcissistic and they ended up, basically drawing the line down to where they discarded you because they wanted to be with someone else, they were looking out for their own best interests. They were not considering the fact that they had put you through a roller coaster throughout your entire relationship. And then when push came to shove, because there was no more they can do to push you any further, what did they decide to do? This is boring to me. This isn't doing it for me anymore. This person doesn't do it for me anymore. I'm not in love with this person, blah, 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 all that bullshit. And then what happens? The whole discard phase happens. Okay? Inside your entire relationship, whether you believe it or not, or whether you did see it or not, there was that form of narcissistic abuse. One-sidedness. I mean, how many of you have dealt with that? Completely one-sided relationship. Okay? Everything they did was acceptable. Anything you did, if it did not meet their approval, you would have been reprimanded. If there were certain things they did not want you to do, that they knew they would not be happy with you doing, though you refrain from doing those things, they end up doing it themselves. Everything is pretty much on their time. Everything is pretty much when they say, how they want it. And if you have an issue with that, if you have a problem with that, then, well, maybe I'm not the person for you. Okay? They're basically about their own personal needs. They're about their own wants, their own desires. They're about maintaining control, because having control means that they are in a safe place. It means that there is no room for rejection. There is no room for, criticism. There is no room for anything remotely negative reflecting on them or their behaviors. And they can pretty much say and do whatever it is that they want, because they have an answer for why they did it. They have an answer for pretty much any and everything. The lack of consideration that they also have, which is mind-boggling to me, because I can't stand people. I cannot stand people who are inconsiderate, narcissist or not. If you're inconsiderate towards me, if you're inconsiderate towards my feelings, or the things that I contribute, it's just a big pet peeve for me. And I'm one who's, if you have no consideration, I will point it out to you right then and there, because that to me is like, that's a big no-no. You don't do that. But the lack of consideration clearly consists of, this is what I want, this is how I want it, this is the way I want it to go, and that's just the way it is. If you bring to their attention, well, you're being inconsiderate, you're not considering me or my feelings, and I don't appreciate that, of course, it would all be flipped around onto you. You're trying to control me. You're trying to control my life. You're trying to tell me what to do. You're trying to tell me where to go. You're trying to tell me how to be. And I'm not with that. They will literally make you feel like shit for trying to show them or trying to express to them that they need to be a little bit more considerate about your feelings, about the whole dynamic. But because it is you and not them, because it is you're the one who has the problem with the situation. They don't see anything wrong with it. Of course, they are going to pretty much tell you who you are. So I have a question. Did he really love me in the beginning, or he didn't love me because it felt like love in the beginning, but something turned dark? I don't think they know how to emotionally connect or love people. I think they are infatuated with the idea of it. They're infatuated with the idea of it because of what love produces. Okay? They're more focused on what your love would produce for them. So when they get involved with you, because you got to remember, when you start dating someone, you go through those periods of, infatuation and lust and all that shit. It's just pretty much the basics in the beginning of a relationship. and you feel an elation. You feel, you're throwing off these, what is the hormone? What is it, oxycodone or something like that?
Oxycodone is it's a drug.
It's a drug. It's a drug. Maybe if we'd taken those drugs while we were in it, we wouldn't be fucking worried about it now, would we? I don't condone drug use, guys. I don't condone it. I don't condone it. But I truthfully think Vicodins would have been pretty good for me. Oxytocin? I think it's oxytocin. It's an oxy. It's something in there. But is it oxytocin? I think it is. Leave it. Huh? Dopamine, and that's a happy hormone. But what's the love hormone? Hold on. Oxytocin. Yeah. I knew it was an oxy.
You know the oxys.
I knew it was something. Guys.
You know the oxys.
Oxytocin is the love hormone, and dopamine is the happy hormone. Dope.
Now we scientists over here.
It's like it'd be a big dope. But yeah, cortisol, I think, is, what is that? Not the stress hormone, right? It's just so many different hormones. I'm not a doctor, guys. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a. It's a stress hormone. Okay, so maybe I'm subconsciously a doctor.
Stress hormone increases sugars and glucose.
Okay. So oxytocin and dopamine, those are the hormones that you're feeling naturally. You're naturally feeling these hormones. You're naturally feeling these feelings because you actually have a genuine interest in that person. That person, on the other hand, does not have the same effect. They don't have the same ability to feel the same types of emotions and those feelings that you do. So what do? They work in the mind. These hormones are coming based on what your heart is feeling. And if you have someone who doesn't show empathy, doesn't have empathy, does not show, that they are able to naturally emotionally connect with people, what they will do is they use what's up here. They use what they've learned. They listen, like I've said it before, they could watch movies, they could read books, they can learn, different skills, because they're telling you what you want to hear. They're telling you what you would want to hear in order for you to produce something based on your love, based on your emotions, based on what you are feeling. I think these people are infatuated with the idea of love simply because it produces things that will give them the make me feel good vibe. That's it. That's all it is. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, and they actually feel, they feel pretty messed up, because it's like, damn, they couldn't just keep it real with me. They just, couldn't tell me what it was. They couldn't tell me like it is. They had to go through all of this to make me feel. Don't feel bad, because you're not the only one. You're not the only one who went through it. There were plenty more people who went through it before you, and I'm pretty sure there are going to be plenty more people who go through it after you. It had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with them being the other victims before you or after you. It has to do with the person. And narcissism is ingrained in their minds at a very young age because of, listen, let's face facts about something. If you have someone who spent their life, as children, being criticized and being verbally abused and being, emotionally abused and psychologically, and taunted, and just pretty much put in a position where they're inadequate. They feel like they're not enough. They try their best to gain the approval of the people, and it all got pretty much blown in their face. These are people who are like, well, then you know what? Screw you, screw the world. I'm just gonna do it on my own and fend for myself, and get what I want from the world. That's their mentality. I'm gonna get what I want, and I'm not gonna give a shit about anybody else. And I've been saying this for years. It's an ingrained thought process. And it's simply because they internalize the lack of emotions and affections and the lack of connection from whether it be their parents or their caregivers, whoever that was. They internalize all of that, and they pretty much just, project it negatively. They project onto other people in a very, very negative way. But of course, because you can get more flies with honey than you can vinegar, what do people do? What does a manipulative person do, whether they're aware or not? They will get more flies with honey than they will with vinegar. So instead of projecting onto you their natural, not, excuse me, let me not say natural. Instead of projecting onto you their true selves, because that's who they turned out to be, they're going to show you what they think you want to see. They're going to talk to you the way they think you would want to be spoken with, which will then let you reciprocate. And once they see that, you are responding and you are entertaining and you are becoming more involved, then they know what to do from that point on. Thank you, Orlando. And you know what? Yeah, when you find out about NPD after a discard, a lot of people didn't know about what they experienced or what they were dealing with. And after a discard, it's so easy for you to take on their projections and their level of just, cruelty, right? Cruelty and just callousness. It's so easy for us to take that as, oh my God, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. I can't believe it, because you believed that everything they were doing was your fault. And simply because throughout your relationship, every time you tried to bring something to their attention, you tried to tell them, you're hurting me. Like, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? And they always responded to you with, I wouldn't have hurt you. I wouldn't have done this and that if you had done what you were supposed to do, or if you hadn't done that, or if you hadn't, they elude accountability. Had you not learned about what you experienced, you probably would still be in the mode most a lot of other victims are currently feeling. You would probably still be in that mind frame of, this was my fault. How did I let that slip through my fingers? How did I let someone like that go? What could I have done to have made things better? What could I have done to make this person happy? You can't, listen, man, you can't fill up a basket of, one of those like laundry baskets that had all the holes in it. Can't fill it up with water. It's never going to fill. That's how a person who is narcissistic, a person who is emotionally unavailable, a person who is an emotional manipulator, a person who simply is just dissatisfied with themselves, that's just how it's going to be. You're going to keep pouring and pouring and pouring, and all it's going to do is keep pouring out. It doesn't make any sense to continue doing that. I saw this one post on TikTok. The post said, when a man asks you what you are looking for, don't say what you are looking for, because if you say what you're looking for, yes, I've been saying that for years. I have been, and I saw, who said it, who I saw also? Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey said it. He said, don't tell them, because you know how some of the women, they ask for his advice. He said, don't tell them what you're looking for. And I've lived with that for years. I have been saying that for years. When people are like, oh, well, what are you looking for? How about we see if we tolerate one another? How about we see if we're compatible with one another? Don't ask me what I'm looking for, because I'm not going to tell you what I'm looking for. Okay? I observe. I like to observe people. Unfortunately, in my life, I was observing I wasn't observing the people I needed to observe. Maybe not everyone, but the people who mattered most to me, the people that I put on a pedestal, I wasn't observing them the way I needed to. Okay. And maybe that's also because when I did observe certain things, I would get like yelled at or be told that I'm overreacting or be told that I'm oversensitive or, I would just get like, I would get chastised, so then I had stopped observing, because I'm a Capricorn. That's what we do. We like to, observe everything. And I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that. You got to start learning how to observe people. You got to just observe patterns and behaviors, observe the way they're speaking with you, observe how how they're treating you, observe a lot of different things. Observe how they are with their own family. Observe how they are with you in private and then how they are with you in public. Observe how they are around you with friends. Okay? Because if you're seeing two different types of personalities where they're one way in private and they're another way in public, that's a fucking problem. That's a problem. That's a huge red flag. So you're showing me someone in private, but you're showing me someone different in public. Which one are you? That is a problem. Yeah, Sky, you never tell them, you don't tell, and it goes for you men too. Don't tell them what you're looking for. Don't tell them what you want. Just simply get to know one another. Get to know one another. At best, the only thing I would say if you want to lay your cards on the table is let them know where you stand on dating. Let them know where you stand. Listen, I'm seeing 5 different people. Are you cool with that? Because if you're not, I'm not ready. I'm weighing out my options. Listen, it's okay to weigh your options out when you're not committed to someone. You don't weigh your fucking options when you're already in a commitment with somebody. You don't do that. And that is the problem. That is the problem because people who do that in relationships, they weigh their options. Oh, well, I have someone here. Yeah, it's not a crazy, but the person's loyal, the person works hard, the person does, they do right by me, they're beautiful, they're handsome, whatever, very basic, it could be a very basic relationship. And at the end of the day, something goes walking right past and all of a sudden, boom, maybe I can do better. Maybe I can do better. And that's where they come to the point of weighing their options. Oh, well, something else is coming into the picture. And I'm telling you, man, sometimes people don't understand the difference between God testing you and the devil tempting you. Because in the end, if you're going to sit there and be in a relationship with someone, you're in a relationship with someone, you're building something with that person, and all of a sudden, fine young thing comes walking right past you, whether you're a man or a woman, walking right past you and, luring you in. You better understand the difference between you being tested and you being tempted. Because the minute you sit there and put someone as an option, the minute you sit there and say, I'm going to weigh my options and now I'm confused. I don't know what I want. I don't know if I want to be with this person anymore. I don't know this. That person already made their decision. And let this be a good note for those who are dealing with someone who is sitting there saying, well, maybe we should go on a break, or maybe we should do this or that. I'm confused. I don't know. And if you contributed, this is the part that kills me because I've been there. If you contributed so much to a relationship and you are thinking that things are, working on its own, you're working on things, you're doing things, and they're telling you, well, I'm confused and I don't know, and this and that, that's because they have their eye on something else. That is because they have their eye on something else. If you have done everything in your might to make someone happy and do something, and I'm not saying, listen, beat them down or do whatever, but bash their windows. I'm not saying any of that. The minute your partner comes to you and says, I'm confused, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want to do, and you guys got 6 months, a year, 2 years under your belt, man, walk the hell away. Walk away because they already made their choice. I'm sorry. I refuse to sit here and believe that someone's going to tell me I'm confused. I don't know what I want. I don't know if I want to be in a relationship. I don't know if I want this. I don't know if I want that or whatever. Either A, they are dealing with someone else, and they had their eye on someone else, or something they thought was better came along, or B, again, they're narcissistic and they did everything they possibly could to not only project onto you, but to also make you out to be the toxic person in this relationship. And now they're utilizing all of that coupled with the gaslighting to convince you that them ending the relationship is the best thing to do because you're toxic. Don't fall for that shit, man. Don't fall for it. Please don't fall for that. I fell for that. I fell for that. Okay? I fell for that, and I was left to lick my own wounds, go through depression, have anxiety. I was and the crazy part is I didn't do anything. I did not do anything to warrant any of that. That's the crazy part about it. I did everything I possibly could to make this person happy. I did everything I possibly could. Everything. I reassured them. I validated their feelings. I respected them. I did everything. There was nothing you could tell me. Nothing that anyone could tell you, oh, Erica was a lying piece of shit, and Erica was deceitful, and Erica was, manipulative, and Erica was a cheater, and Erica did this, and Erica did... Not one damn thing. And I still got treated that way, and I still got a response like that. So trust and believe when I say this. If they tell you, we need to take a break. If they tell you, I'm confused. If they tell you anything that is basically letting you know, I think I might have found something better, or I think there may be something else better for me. And the crazy part about it is that they won't tell you directly. They won't tell you directly, which is why they say, well, look, listen, I don't want to lose you as a friend. I mean, you contributed 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of the relationship with the person. And then after everything, they tell you, well, I don't want to lose you as a friend. Can we still be friends? Man, with friends like that, you don't need no fucking enemies, bro. You really don't. You really don't. Oh, yeah. Says exactly. That's why I just tell them, go ahead and make your move, because when you out, don't come back. Yeah. Which is why they try to still hold on to you. They try to find some way to keep the link between the two of you. They'll always try to do that, especially if they, if they go out there because, God knows if they were even doing you dirty before they even brought the whole thing up. That's the only thing that gets me, that I don't really know if I can, it just don't sit right with me. But afterwards, if you agree to be friends with them, if you agree to be like, okay, fine, whatever, then that gives them the open door to do whatever they want, which is go forth with the new eye candy or whatever, do whatever it is that they wanted to do. You can't hold that against them because you guys aren't together anymore. You guys are friends now. Okay. And then what happens when it doesn't work out with that? Oh, then you guys are hanging out more. Then you guys are like intermingling more. Yeah, that's just all bullshit. It's all bullshit. I ain't with it. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of us, because we have that mentality. Once you have clarity, once you are able to really see things for what it really is, the reason why they don't want you to grasp the concept of things is because they know you will cut them off. They know you will have nothing to do with them. You will want nothing to do with them. Nothing. Because after everything I've given to you, not only did you project your insecurities onto me, not only did you project your trauma, your paranoia, your callousness, your cruelty, everything, you projected that onto me, had me thinking that I'm the toxic one, had me thinking that the reason all of this is happening is because of me. And then on top of it, you want to sit here and tell me, oh, this is why we can't be together because you're like this and that, because I'm being reactive towards the behaviors that you are clearly displaying, the behaviors that you know are hurting me, but yet you're convincing other people that I'm the one who's crazy, that I'm the one who's overreacting. And after all of this, you go ahead and you want to get your ego stroked or whatever out there, and you want to do all of this. Man, listen. And I'm supposed to just be like, I'm supposed to be cool with it? They will try to convince you you're turning a freaking molehill into a mountain. Okay? They will try to convince you of that. When my mom was in the hospital dying of cancer, he told me the bill collectors don't care if your mom's dying. That was because I wanted to go to the hospital instead of work. It's basically so leave your mom in the hospital and because she's already sick, so and it's cancer, so you know, but we still got bills to pay. We got things we need to do. I swear. I swear. If only God would just please strike lightning on people that he knows have treacherous hearts. Mine, after 12 years, told me she wanted guy friends. She wanted to attend parties and never could because of me. They never could do anything because of us. You notice that?
Sounds familiar.
Could never do anything because of us.
We stole their social life.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. Especially me. Especially me. I mean, I only work 2 jobs, 6 days a week. So, yeah, it's all an excuse. It's all an excuse, guys. It's all an excuse to go out there and behave badly and behave immorally and do whatever it is they want to do. And then when you got something to say about it because it's infringing, on your time, or because you don't find it to be appropriate, or you guys aren't coming to some sort of a compromise, it's always going to be you. You're trying to own me, you're trying to run me, you're trying to tell me what to do, you're trying to just do all and none of it. And listen, I know a lot of it don't make it a lot of it didn't make sense, because for me a lot of it didn't make sense, but in the end, you know what, you put two and two together, you get four. Yeah. Orlando says, don't explain, don't defend, and don't argue with a narc. No, it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. It really is not worth it. I mean, guys, I don't know how you guys did it in yours, because, me, I walked away with grace. I said what I had to say, and I was very nice about it too. I was very nice about it. Okay. I walked away with grace, and I did what I had to do. I said what I had to say. I didn't exact any revenge. I didn't say anything remotely. Listen, I could have tore this person down. I could have torn this person down. I could have literally shredded their ego in front of so many people. But you know something? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I figured he already had people in his life who already been doing that to him. Let them deal with him. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, because how I treat other people is a reflection of me, and how I do things will be a reflection of me. Okay? It's always better to just walk away with your dignity and your pride intact, and just be, just be the bigger person, and just say, something, lesson learned, and that's it. That's it. Because I really cannot see myself. And after learning from all of this, dealing with all of this, and just learning what I've learned, the one good thing I can say that came out of this is I overcame my codependency. That was the one good thing that came out of this. I overcame my codependency issues. I overcame my fear of abandonment. I overcame my fear of rejection. I overcame a lot of problems, a lot of my anxiety. My anxiety was through the roof. Now, you'd be lucky you can get me out of bed. I overcame so much. I really did. And it's crazy how you have to go through this experience to really understand it. You have to go through this experience to get rid of whatever lingering trauma was within you. But in the end, it's really worth it. It really, really is worth it in the end. Oh yeah, Ty. Yeah. Or well, if they do cheat and mess around, and if you confront them on it, or if, you say, listen, it's over or whatever. Oh, you're going to throw away 10, 15 years, for a mistake and blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, yo, you cheated on me. What more is there to say about it? Well, look, I wouldn't have cheated on you if you were ... I wouldn't have cheated. So basically, you made me cheat. You made me do it. If you had given me more attention, I wouldn't have cheated on you. If you had been there, I wouldn't have cheated on you. If you'd been the man that I needed you to be, I wouldn't have cheated on you. If you, it's always easiest to deflect the blame onto you because, again, listen, fellas, she's not going to admit that she's a hoe. Ladies, he's not going to admit that he got community dick. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm just saying. They're not going to admit to those things. They're going to sit there and deflect. They will deflect. This is what eluding accountability is. It's deflecting. They're going to deflect onto you. They're going to deflect onto everyone. Well, I don't know, my father was a serial cheater and I guess I got it from him. Really? So there was something in the water? It's always going to be a deflection. There's always going to be something that's going to be used as, I did it because of you. I'm good on that. That's why I'd rather stay single. A lot of people who come from codependent backgrounds, they find themselves wanting to be in relationships because they want to basically have the opposite of what it is that they had, growing up. They want it, they want the connection, they want the attachment, they want to feel validated, they want the love, they want to be the nurturer, they want to be the caring people, they want to be these things. And you can be all of these things, but if you're codependent, that's a problem. You have to be these things without having to be in the position of fearing rejection, fearing abandonment, fearing that you won't be accepted, fearing that people won't approve you. If you're in that element, if you're in under that, it's not going to work. It'll never work. Because if you live with that, you could be with someone who's caring, loving, very independent, very autonomous, a very, very good person. Doesn't have to be a narcissist, a very good person. You can end up being toxic for that person. It's best to work through your traumas and your hi, Steven. Yeah, it's best to just work through your traumas and just get through your emotions. And that way, when you are cleared of all of that, all of that painful shit, that shit that's just going to be holding you back, then you can come in contact with someone who values you and who you'll be able to trust. They'll be able to trust you. You guys will be able to come into that naturally on its own. You won't be able to do that if you're stuck in a codependent lifestyle. So just remember that, guys. Just remember that. My being single is because it's by choice. I choose to be single. I choose to not be involved with anyone. I don't want to be involved with anyone because at the end of the day, I'm too busy loving myself. And I think that's where a lot of us need to be. We need to just be so focused on loving ourselves that a relationship is nothing but a distraction. And that's all it's going to be for me. It's going to be a distraction. I don't need that. I really don't. I had never craved the relationship any more than I did, years ago. And now I'm just to that point where it's like, for what? For what? No. No, guys. She told me she gave me hints that I didn't see when she discarded me. What the fuck is a hint? Pardon my French, but really, what the fuck is a hint? We're a little too grown to be playing fucking charades, okay? We're not playing that. There are no hints. Say what you mean and mean what you say. That's it. That is all. That is all. At the end of the day, and it's funny because my ex told me the same thing. He went with that. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And I said, tell me that it's over, give me my closure, and I can move on. And all he kept doing was he just kept prolonging it. He just kept, like deflecting. He kept pushing it aside. He would not, I'm like, all right, fine, fine. But because I kept reacting and I kept responding and I kept coming back and trying to, he was like just continuously, it was just breadcrumbing. It was breadcrumbing. I ain't got time for that. Nobody got time for that shit, man. Nobody has time for that. I was giving you hints. I was giving you hints. Well, that just goes to show that you're a fucking coward. You're a coward. Okay, I can't deal with cowards. Oh my gosh. I can't stand them. I can't stand them. And just for being a coward, I think if we were to walk over a fire pit, I would push them first and then walk on top of them. I can't stand the whole cowardice acts. I can't stand that. No, they don't, Orlando. They don't. You never get closure. You never get clarity. You basically have to just create that for yourself, and you'll just have to say that something. This is the way it is. This is who they are. This is what they do, and I'm an acceptance of it. I've come to accept a lot of things about a lot of people, and I just don't feel the need to. I just don't feel the need to bother with them. I really don't. Yeah, 12-year marriage talking about, yeah, no, 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 no. They're the kind of people, these are the kind of people who always feel that, something, maybe I can do better, and they think they can do better. They're the kind of people who can be swayed, easily swayed. They're the kind of people who can, who don't seek to really commit. They're not looking to commit. And if they do commit, it's because there is a gain in it. It just makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And again, just to reiterate, even if the person that you dealt with is not a narcissist, even if they're not a narcissist, but they have projected narcissistic abuse, anyone who is narcissistic, okay, the only difference between them and a narcissist is that they're not diagnosed as a narcissist. That's it. That's the only difference. I had so much emotional abuse, I started writing it all down. How did I stay in that toxic pit for 9 years? And I want you guys also start looking up betrayal trauma. Look up betrayal trauma, okay? Betrayal trauma. Start doing your studies in that. I'm gonna do a video on it, but I want you guys to start like researching on that too. Betrayal trauma plays a very big role, man. It plays a very, very big role. And some people might not realize it, but this starts at a very young age too, where you are constantly betrayed throughout your life and you continuously still deal with the people or the person who has been betraying you. Okay? Could be, for example, parents. If your parents were betraying you, in that, one of the common forms of abuse with betrayal trauma between a caregiver and a child is, let's say it's, SA, right? That's a common form of betrayal trauma. It's where the caregiver is betraying that child. They are committing acts that are clearly immorally, ethically, and of course, just physically, it's wrong. It's wrong. But what the child ends up doing, and children of any type of betrayal trauma at a very young age, what they end up doing is they end up using it like as a coping mechanism. Because when children are young, they utilize their parents for survival. People who encounter betrayal trauma, people who stay in relationships or dynamics with other people who are clearly betraying them, with betrayal trauma, it's simply because there's a sense of survival. Okay, there is a dependency there, and that's why they end up staying in dynamics. It's like a wife and her husband. If her husband is the breadwinner and he's the one who's taking care of the bills in the house and everything with the finances, and he's a shitty husband. He's a shitty husband. He comes home whenever he wants to. He cheats on her. He does whatever it is that he wants to do. But because she is reliant on him, he's basically her means of survival. She allows it. She has no choice. She basically turns a blind eye to things. Okay? People who live with betrayal trauma are people who are staying in dynamics with people who are clearly betraying them, betraying their trust, betraying every single law of that dynamic, but they stay in that dynamic because that person or those people are means of survival. They're means of survival. And that's why I tell people, don't be so quick to judge why a person stays in a relationship so long with someone who is betraying them, who is cheating on them, who is abusing them, who is narcissistically abusing them, domestically abusing. Don't be so quick to judge these people because you don't know what other forms of trauma they're carrying within themselves. It's a very interesting factor. And I really want you guys to start looking that up too. Because I have a lot of people who sit there telling me, I can't believe I stayed so long. Why me? Why? I'm still trying to understand why. Betrayal trauma plays a very big role. It plays a very, very big role. Give me a moment. But yeah, guys, please, please, please do so. Please do look up betrayal trauma. The betrayal wound. It's something that a lot of people have lived with, don't even realize that they're living with that, don't even realize that they have that particular trauma, and often beat themselves up because they keep finding themselves in situations with people. They keep finding themselves. I'm pretty sure it's very common with codependent people. I'm pretty sure betrayal trauma is one of the traumas that a codependent faces. And it's just it's something that can really, really open up new doors in understanding the whys, understanding why, how, and when we have more understanding and more awareness and more acknowledgement, we're able to understand what it is that we need to do next to move forward with it. Okay, so I will be working on a video with that. In the meantime, if you want to, you can. I have the podcast already up, so if you want to listen to the podcast, you can go to my podcast. Amanda will put the link in the chat, and you can listen to it. Just listen to the words, listen to what I'm saying with regards to it. But this can definitely help you understand the whys. It can help you understand the whys. And for anyone who's skeptical, anyone who doesn't, and there is a citation in there. I do give which psychologist was the one who did the studies with that theory, and it makes a lot of sense. It really makes a lot of sense. And clearly what makes sense will either scare people or push people to open up more doors, to open up new doors. So definitely look it up, and definitely, just if you want to, just sit back, relax, listen to the podcast, and you'll get to understand what I mean about it. But guys, I'm going to be working on a video. Like I said, I'm going to be working on Narcissism 101, the basics. Okay. It's going to be 2 parts. There's going to be 2 parts to it. I'm going to be working on those videos. I will be working on the betrayal trauma video, and I will be working on a trauma bond video. Okay. Traumatic bonding. I will be working on that as well. So I have a few more things that I need to do. So I want to, I really want to start getting back into doing my content again, doing the videos again. I'm gonna get back into it. We're gonna, like revamp. I might revamp some other videos and really really put more effort and more focus into the channel. I know it's been kind of reduced to once a week with doing the lives, but that's all going to change. That's all going to change too. So I will definitely be working on more of it. But in the meantime, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Oh, by the way, guys, the group session for tomorrow is at 8 if you're interested in joining. If you haven't already confirmed if you're going to be there, just send me the email, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. All right. It's anybody who wants to join. If you are interested in being there tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And it's for anybody who wants to be a part of the group chat. You can bring your drinks, whatever it is that tickles your fancy. Okay. And it's just a gathering of people. We do it's a Skype group chat. You don't have to sign up for Skype, but you do need the app in order for me to send you the link so you can open it up. All right. And we just get together to, chit chat, talk, BS, just, try to get to know one another, talk to one another, vent, all that good stuff, and possibly help each other out. That's what the group support is about. All right. So if you're interested in joining tomorrow's chat, send me the email. Amanda will send you all the necessary information, and we will take it from there. No worries, Stella. That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, anybody who is able to make it, anybody who wants to who catches it on the stream, the latest to catch me to reserve, I'm gonna say it's gonna be 5 p.m. All right, 5 p.m. tomorrow. So if you are interested in joining tomorrow, then again, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. Do you think if this guy were to come back, would he be trying to get back together, or him just harassing me? Because it's a mixture of threats and idolization for the past 2 years with the restraining order. It doesn't matter, honey. It doesn't really matter whether he comes back to try to get back together with you or to harass you. You got to stay away from someone like that. Someone like that is dangerous. Okay? Someone like that is very, very dangerous. And, the concern should really, really be, the primary focus should be on protecting your surroundings, protecting yourself. Okay. And in this case, whether or not he's coming back to try to get back together with you or to harass you, you got to ask yourself, what do I need to do to ensure that I'm safe? That's what you have to ask yourself. Okay. So I really don't think it matters if he wants to get back together. I mean, unless it matters to you and that's, that's your concern. I mean, in the end, this would be a question of, are you willing to let someone like that back in your life? Are you willing to let someone like that who, has done all that you say he's done back in? Because if that is the case, I mean, again, that is your choice, but to endure all of that and then that person just come out of the blue, I don't really think it matters whether or not he wants to get back together. I think more so it matters you protecting yourself. You protecting yourself. Because even if he wanted to come back and you guys went through all of this, I can guarantee you something right now. You let him back in, it's going to be bad. You've already done enough to hit his ego. You've done enough to inflict narcissistic injury. And even if he comes in with flowers and candies and diamonds and a smile on his face, acting like nothing happened, trust and believe. That's a volcano waiting to erupt. So you have to be very, very conscious, very mindful, and you have to be in protective mode. That's the only thing I can tell you. But someone like that, I wouldn't want someone like that in my life, or back in my life for that matter. I really wouldn't. Oh, guys, there's no need to get stage fright. You guys are more than welcome to speak. Speak on anything. Yeah, he's NPD with ASPD traits, antisocial personality disorder. That's what's commonly found in sociopaths. That is what's commonly found in sociopaths. And in the end, he could, he could try to exact revenge on you, or he can mentally torture you. But whichever way you look at it, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Antisocial personality disorder, if that is not properly treated, if that's not properly taken care of, if you haven't seen, um, I did a video on the sociopath. I did a video on the sociopath, and these are not the kind of people who can really sustain relationships, normal functioning relationships with other people. These are people who can, 1 minute they can be charming, they can be kind, and it's all great. Everything is just beautiful. It's a sunny day, there are flowers and butterflies and everything. And the next minute they could be standing outside your door with a knife in their hand. I mean, that's the type of personality that you'd be dealing with. You have to really consider the fact that this is someone who can be beyond potentially dangerous. And your best thing is to ensure that you are safe, which means following protocol to ensure your safety, whatever that may be. That's the most important thing. Yeah, no, that's just. But anyone, yeah, guys, anyone who joins the chat, you are more than welcome to speak up. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Don't. That's why my ass drinks so much damn water, because I'm the one who's mostly primarily talking. But don't be ashamed. I'm not ashamed. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to, listen, that's the whole point of us getting to know each other and just becoming, becoming one with the group. Okay. It's a lot better to just open up and talk. You can talk. It's a judge, no judgment zone. Judge free. Guys can say whatever as long as we're all respectful to each other. That's all that matters.
Listen, that be going on for hours sometimes. You only for like 4 hours.
So, like I said, anybody who wants to join, cutoff time is 5 p.m. You just let me know. All right. And listen, if there's nobody for tomorrow, then I get a free Saturday. So it works either way. It works either way, guys. All right. Huh? I know. I know. I'm just saying though, but anybody who does want to join, 5 p.m. is the cutoff time tomorrow. And if not, if tomorrow is a no-go, then that's fine. There's nothing. People have lives too, That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine, guys. All right. So beautiful people, lovely, beautiful survivors, kings, queens. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much for showing love and support. Of course, before you leave, please be sure to hit the like button on your way out. And if you're watching it on the stream, hopefully this was helpful and informative. Please be on the lookout for the other videos that I will be putting out there. Like I said, I'm going to be revamping the channel. I'm going to be revamping everything. So we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I'm going to be definitely working on some more content for you guys. And, we're going to get this going. We're going to get this going, guys. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for being here with me tonight. Have a beautiful night, Shay. I'm sorry, Sky. Sky, I was looking at your, I'm getting there already. No worries, Sergio. It's like I said, if you guys can't make it, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We can set it up for the next time. I try to work with everyone's schedule as best as I can. It is kind of difficult because, my schedule's a bit crazy too. So I try to work in as much as I can for everybody. We're gonna be working on I'm gonna be working on June's calendar, for next month. Trying to see what I could do for one-on-ones and of course for the group chats. So like I said, guys, if you can't make it tomorrow, that's perfectly fine. I know you guys got lives, and that's actually what I want you to do. Go on with your lives too. So you don't have to, but if you're able to, great. If not, we'll set it up for another time. It's not a big thing, okay? Thank you, Sergio. Thank you, Angela. Have a great night. Official Ty, Stella. Thank you guys so much for just for being here, for being who you are, for joining. Anybody who's new, thank you for being here. Okay, if you want to reach me, you know where to find me, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. And for anyone who's who's just streaming, again, just go back. Go back. The timestamp will be in the description box. And what else? I think that's it so far, right? That's it so far. Beautiful people. Have a beautiful night. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you back here next week on Friday, same time, same place. I will be on TikTok on Tuesday, doing a live on Tuesday. So if you're interested, join me over there. And so yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that new content. All right, guys. Thank you again so much for being here. Thank you guys for the love and support. Always appreciative. I'm going to take my behind to go relax because I am beat. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a good night, guys. Bye.